And we're live. On the playlist today, we do our top 10 Super Nintendo games of all time. So stay tuned
What?
to Metro Kingdom Radio and welcome back to the Switch side. Welcome everyone to Metro Kingdom Radio. It is I, your host, the best by far. It's it's J-Playstar, and with two of the most super co-hosts here tonight. First
Superist.
off, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious co-host, full time. First off, we have Rob the Rob.
Hey, everybody.
And,
Good
and,
evening.
Reunion.
Reunion.
Oh, this is gonna be the SNES versus SNES podcast episode, isn't it? I get it. It's okay, guys. That's wrong.
Well, what, are you Team SNES or Team SNES?
I'm Team SNES all the way. Yep.
As am
That's
I.
the correct answer.
As am I. I've never called it the SNES, and the SNES is just only something that I've heard people start talking about it after I became an adult. I was not aware anyone called it that before.
I don't mind calling it. Well, even Nintendo, I just call it NES. I don't call it NES.
Yeah, same here. I never once called it the NES.
NES is for people who have trouble naming their protagonists in their trippy RPG game that no one plays.
NES is for people who spam side B too much.
Get fired.
Yeah, right. All those yo-yo fans.
Well, how about you, Rob? Are you Team SNES or Team SNES?
SNES.
Yeah, see,
Or it's just
I don't
Nintendo.
know. Who the hell says SNES?
That's the thing that people say.
I know. I don't know anyone personally that actually calls it the SNES. It's just people online that I hear call it the SNES. That's such a weird thing. All right, well, we are doing our top 10 Super Nintendo games of all time. We, in the past, Chris and I together have done the top 10 N64 games. So Ryu thought
We even
this a
came
great
back
idea.
and revisited the list.
We did.
Yeah, that's the way to double dip.
Yeah, and you know what? Chris nor Kyo are here today, so it's time for us to run the school.
Was Kyo in the first one? In the first Super
No.
Nintendo 64 one?
She wasn't.
No. That's even more why it was controversial.
Yeah.
There's more people here now than there was when they did that N64 list the first time.
That's true.
I have something in my list that's gonna take off Kyo. I know that. Actually, I have maybe two things in my list that tips.
I have things that aren't on my list that'll tick off other people.
Same.
Yeah. So let's get into it. First off, the Super Nintendo. Geez, when was this thing released?
91, I think.
I believe so. 91-ish. We'll stick around that.
Released
Yeah,
in
it was
America.
released, and I remember when I first saw it, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. It had the word "Super" in it. I couldn't wait to play Super Mario World, and yeah, I mean, I absolutely loved my Super Nintendo. It's probably like when I think back, even though the NES was, a lot of it was kind of like I remember it and it was beloved. Like my childhood was mostly defined by the Super Nintendo, not really the Nintendo, and not really the NES.
And the thing is, like, you want to talk about one of the most timeless controllers ever, like,
right?
Everything's still based on that controller.
Everything.
It's like the dual analog from PlayStation, but even then,
everything is still based off of this control scheme. So
it's literally like 80% of what you're controlling.
Yeah, whatever controller you have. I mean, Rob's has his like NES controller shirt, but no one uses those two side-by-side buttons anymore. It's all diamond shaped now.
Controller ever.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Everything is diamond shaped now because it just makes so much sense. All right.
Yeah,
I mean, so I remember when I first got it, and I loved this thing so much. So, what about you guys? What about you? What do you remember most about like this Super Nintendo, or at least like your first experience with it?
I don't remember going to store and getting it. I don't remember my parents buying it, but for some reason, I remember the first I kind of remember it coming out of the box, and that's like one of my earliest memories. And we played, Super Mario World, and I just remembered at the time it didn't make sense, but now that I'm older, it's probably because my cousins had Nintendo and Asian parents they don't say it, but they like to try and impress one another. So they might buy it for the kids, but deep down it's like, oh yeah,
it's a flex.
It's a flex, yeah. Technology is a flex. It really is.
Don't we know that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Look how I was able
Gangnam
to,
Style.
look what I bought my kids.
How about you, Rob?
I think it was a Christmas. I'm pretty sure it was a Christmas present.
Ooh, dang.
For sure it came with Super Mario.
That'd be funny if it didn't. You got the rarest version of.
Yeah, see, I think I lucked out because for me it was, even though it was disguised as a gift for my brother and I. We all know that my dad got it for himself. It was one of those things like Joe Coy says, I buy this my son a PS4, but it's for both of us. So when he said he didn't want a PS4, I was like, why not, man? Come on. That's pretty much how it was, I'm sure, with my dad too. So yeah, top 10 Super Nintendo games. Man, when we first decided to do this, yesterday /
40 minutes
early
ago.
today.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't even yesterday. It was literally 40 minutes ago.
we considered doing a top 10, but we were like, well, of what?
Yeah.
And when we landed on Super Nintendo, it was like, man, I thought to myself, this is going to be easy. Then I started looking at all the games that are on here, and I was like, this is not easy at all. This is really hard. And so I had to take things off of here that I thought were set to be here, and it's not.
I'm so lucky that a lot of games I don't finish, because if I beat those games, boy, it's even harder to choose. It's easier to choose a game that you beat over a game that you didn't beat. And I got lucky on a few, but some of them, man, I can't even put on the list because A, I didn't beat it, and B, it's I'm kind of pressured to put on the list because I know that this is a Hall of Fame game or whatever, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
I know your exact thoughts. Because there are games that are not on my list that I'm just they're highly regarded. People just absolutely love those games. They're how, it would be on any of their top 10s, but it's not on mine. And it's crazy to think. And when you really think about it, the Super Nintendo had so many genre defining games.
Yeah.
So many.
The start of genres, literally for a bunch of them too.
You talk about polished genres too,
Star Fox.
If you think about it, a lot of them were better versions of the Nintendo NES versions of those games. It's just so well polished.
Yeah. All right. So I think we decided we were gonna do it we would reveal we would go from 10 to 1. Each one of us would just talk about what our number 10 is, and then, we discuss it.
And of course, if 10 being the highest ranking.
if it so happens that, someone's lower number is someone else's higher number, do you guys just want to just say, oh, well, that's actually this number? And then, because I see it as we're just going to talk about it, that game in that time. So I think if someone mentions a lower number, name. So for example, if we were doing a Sega one and someone says Sonic 2 is my number 9, you know what I mean? And that's our number, and it's someone else's number 1.
I think we should keep it a secret.
What? Okay. But
it'll be more tension, more suspense.
I can see that, but then at the same time, wouldn't you want to talk about it a lot?
Okay, yeah, I see. Okay, yeah, cool.
You get what I mean? Yeah. So
I say we should hide it if it's our number. If it's in number 1 or number 2, the top 1, we should hide it if it's number 1.
Okay, if it's in your top 3, hide it.
Yeah,
okay.
There you go.
All right. Well, we can try to do that. I don't know how well it's gonna work.
We'll just do number 1. If it's your number 1, we'll hide it.
Okay. All right. So, let's start. Who wants to go first for their number 10 SNES game of all time?
I'm just gonna rip off the bandage.
My number 10
Oh,
Oh, go
is.
go ahead, go ahead.
Are you guys ready for this one?
oh God.
No, actually, I have to use
No.
the restroom. I'll be
So
right
I put this list together by looking at the list and kind of grabbing games that I knew I played,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? It's,
and then
I
just
don't think
deciding
Revolt
where
is
to
on
rank
Super
them.
Nintendo. I don't think that game is on there.
So my number 10 is Tiny Toon Adventures Buster Bust Loose.
Hey, wait. Okay, let me ask you something. Was that game made by?
Woo!
Oh, that game wasn't made by Capcom. Never mind. I'm thinking of Disney cartoons.
Wait, wasn't it? Oh
I
no,
don't
Tiny
know.
maybe
I'd have to
not.
pull up the list
Wait,
I was looking
yeah,
at.
I don't
think
think
I
there's any
moved away from it.
games made by Capcom, but yeah.
So tiny Toon Adventures, huh?
Buster Bust Loose.
Okay. I mean,
You
I
have anything
can't
to
tell
say?
you.
Okay.
I can't tell you anything about the game. The only thing I really remember is like running around an overworld a little bit.
I remember this game, but I don't know when it comes to like Tiny Toons games. I played the one on Nintendo on NES more so than I played this one.
Let me
So
guess. Let me guess, Rob. You rented this game, huh? Right?
Like several times.
Exactly. Yeah. Because
I
I know I put a
me
lot of
re-
time into this game.
I remember seeing this game as a rental so often. That's like I don't know if I ever rented it or played it, but I remember like just always seeing that game at a rental store.
well, that's cool. I mean, it's not on my list, but
Of course it
it's on
isn't. It's
it's
not
on
on Ryu's
Rob's
list
list.
either.
All right, I'll go next. I'm sorry, Keo, but at number 10, Yoshi's Island. And now
Oh no.
this is a hard list. This is such a hard list. There's that it helps that I didn't beat the game, but I played this game so many times, and it was like it's one of the greatest platformers of all time.
It really
She's,
is.
she's some,
Yeah, that was literally going to be in my top 5. Maybe in my top 6 somewhere.
so it's your number 6. Is that what you're saying? Or I mean, look, it's great music, great platforming.
Mhm.
Also, there's no time limit, so you have a lot of exploration.
Mhm.
It is pretty different from your standard Mario game, but it's kind of its own series at this point.
Mhm.
But man, I love the art style, the music. It's pretty much like a very therapeutic game. But I just don't like it as much as like traditional platformers because
Mhm.
it's I don't know, it doesn't really have that speed factor to it. But I do like the aim factor. You know, aiming a bunch of I mean, if you know how to aim in that game, then you're pretty much speedrunning that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, okay, so I think let's do this. If it does happen to be higher up on someone else's list, just say that it's higher up on your list, but don't say what number until we get
Okay,
there.
yeah,
I think
that's
that's a good compromise.
That's a good way, yeah.
Because yes, Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island is on my list as well. It's higher up than yours, Ryu, but yeah, this game is awesome. I remember when I first saw this game, I was like, "Whoa, what? Super Mario World?" And then I found out it was a Yoshi game, but I was like, "What? Yeah, I kind of love Yoshi too, though. So why not?" Yeah,
Yeah.
this game, amazing music.
Actually, I would say the music for that game might be better than Super Mario World's music. Like that music is that good. Like I would say we'll see. Although we'll see, we'll see.
Yeah, this game is amazing. I mean, the art style is beautiful. Like, I don't know how many games like even now can compare to like this kind of art style. This is like pixel art, but like they did it where everything looked like it was drawn by crayon. Like it
What's
just
funny is they had that whole
gorgeous.
trippy cloud thing, and
Mhm.
I don't know how they pull that off to look so well because
Yeah.
it's a crayon art style, and now you have to make it look trippy. And I'm like, you could tell it didn't really take up like a lot of. I don't think it took up much processing energy as much as it took up a lot of artists to like try and.
I don't know. Something tells me that this one probably had that one chip that
It
like
is one of the
Mario
later
RPG
games,
had.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it did. I forgot what it's called, but yeah,
You
someone
think
correct me.
Shigeru Miyamoto is just tired of saying "I told you so"? Because they were getting like pressuring him to make, and Nintendo was pressuring him to make a Donkey Kong Country looking game
Mhm.
because that was like the big thing, and he was like, "No, I want to make
No,
this
let's go with
game."
this. Yeah, You know, even though like lately Shigeru Miyamoto hasn't been doing things that I've been
No, I
enjoying,
want to use the tablet,
but
guys.
old school
Of course, Zero.
Shigeru Miyamoto, like I'm totally down with.
Shiggy.
Shiggy. Yeah, this game is awesome. Like it's an unforgettable experience. Like it's one of the, like you said, one of the greatest platformers of all time.
I just
Uh,
imagine Kyo taking a nap, and then I say my number 10, and she's like, "Oh, what the hell was that?"
Yeah, right now she's
Something
I
wrong.
I
Something's
just had
wrong.
a dream.
Someone
Someone
put
said
Yoshi's Island outside of
a
top
number
5.
10. And then like yeah, her husband's like, "Oh, don't worry, just go to sleep." The baby wakes up. Oh man. All right. So for Brave Breloom in the chat, hey, thanks for joining us.
Yo, Brave. I saw that video. It's the best Pokemon music video so far. Oh, just wanted to pop in for a bit. All right, pop music. I get that.
Dirty
Nice.
pop.
Dirty pop.
Second how to hear all these people talk about. Yeah, so my number
Dumbest
10,
song.
this was really hard. Like when it comes to number 10, I actually had more trouble just debating on which is my number 10 because I have so many honorable mentions. And I'm like, man, what is it going to have to take to pop into number 10? And this is unfortunate because I almost feel like might have been here just because of recent events. But at the same time, this is genre defining, and I played a lot of this with, friends and family, and so this is gonna be Super Street Fighter Turbo 2 Turbo, like it.
That's on my list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is like this is genre defining. This is like what made fighting games what it is today. Like, yeah, you could say, oh, it's not the first one, Street Fighter 1 was, but you know what I mean? Like, who played Street Fighter 1 and thought of it? I was like, man, this is going to change, like, video
Yeah.
games in general. No, Street
Game's
Fighter
amazing.
2, on the other hand, did. And yeah, is so good. Like, even till this day, Capcom still sells different versions of this game, like, standalone. That's just
They
how
really
good this
do.
game was.
Even back then, they sold different versions of that game.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, they did.
It's the first game with like a good actually it might be the first game with a combo system. I'm sure there's probably other games before it, but like in terms of a combo system that felt great. Even the sounds back then, like I make fun of like Mortal Kombat with their sound effects or animations, but like Street Fighter, they specifically made sure that like the sounds are satisfying, and that's crazy to do for like a 16-bit arcade. But they also made sure that the animations were great. And they said if the pixel of the frame didn't make you laugh, then they didn't want it in the game. And that's why like the animations are kind of cartoony, but at the same time, like it kind of works because they have that type of art style. Like that's why you don't really question that flying sumo wrestler that, jumping onto
Or the green dude.
green
Oh
dude with
my
electricity. Yeah.
That's so funny. Brave Breloom in the chat. Confessions Part 2 by Usher is in my playlist. That's so funny. Yeah, so and I mean, here's a confession of mine. Mortal Kombat is not on my list. So that's kind of saying much because I really love Mortal Kombat, and for me,
It's not on my list either.
I chose Street Fighter over Mortal Kombat because
I mean,
just
to be
feel
fair, oh sorry, go ahead.
because I feel like even though Mortal Kombat, to me, has the better storyline, and I don't know, characters debatable which one has the better characters, because I think Mortal Kombats are just more like cheesier and more fun, but Street Fighter I almost feel like are more iconic, or at least
Yeah,
for the most part, you know what I mean, like, as everyone knows who like Chun-Li is, everyone knows Ken, Ryu, whereas like in Mortal Kombat it's like everyone knows Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
But the thing is, I'll say is
color swaps.
Yeah, they're all these but the thing I'll say is I mean, Mortal Kombat 2, I mean, to be fair, the SNES version does have the worst versions of Mortal Kombat, right? Like Mortal Kombat 2, does it still have like sweat blood, or does it have blood in that one?
I think they actually started letting blood happen.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. All right. Number 9. Let's go around the table. Number 9, who wants to go first? Okay, I'll go first. My number 9, this wasn't too hard for me to put, like, because I knew for sure this was going to be on my top 10. As for where it belonged, I think I was okay with it being in the bottom part of it, and that is Final Fantasy VI. This game was the game that introduced me to RPGs. and like I love the characters so much in this game, even though it's super long. And I was currently trying to replay it on my GBA, but then just realizing how long and like this game is, I'm like, oh my god, maybe this game needs a new reworking of it to make it shorter because
Better pacing.
it's so
Yeah.
long. But yeah, just I love the characters so much. Terra, Locke, Sabin, Edgar, Setzer, like
Seven.
so many cool characters in this game, and just like it's an RPG, but then just like they did so many things that a lot of people don't realize, just the brilliance of it because
They
everyone is
invented.
so hung up on Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, they invented sexy clowns.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, like their bad guy, like
this
someone
is
just
before Hunter x Hunter, by the way.
I
This
saw
is like sexy clown shit.
I yeah, someone described Final Fantasy 6 as like Star Wars, but at the end, the Emperor gets replaced by Joker, and I'm like, that's very accurate. Uh,
Ronald McDonald shows up and says, "Hey,
but yeah, Kefka is such a like bastard of a villain. Like,
yeah."
I love it. It's such a good game, and yeah, I like
I was
it's one
gonna,
of my favorite Final Fantasies of all time. So
I was gonna put it in there,
it
but
was it's hard, right?
yeah, but I didn't beat it, so I'm sure if I did beat the game, because I got pretty far into it, but it's a long game. I got past the theater part, and even at the time I played it, because it was like way past. It was like, I don't know, Nintendo Wii era maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's still that
Oh, it's
theatrical.
still long. Yeah.
It still works. The Maria part, not the Shadow of the Hedgehog Maria, but
Did you
uh,
you made it? Did you get it to World of Ruin? Did you make it to
I
there?
don't think so. I
Oh,
think
okay.
I got to the part where Kefka like poisons the castle.
Oh,
And
you're
then
right next to the World of Ruin. You're close to it,
dang
if
it,
I remember
man.
correctly.
I got to Pizza Trains. That was cool. Johnny, I did want to tell you something. So I'm pretty sure because when I was a kid, my parents would rent these Chinese like drama, like not drama series, but like these long, like like 80 episode long, like Chinese, like more like Journey to the West. I don't know if you're
Mhm.
familiar with it. Yeah. So there was one, and I was always wondered. I was interested in this story because it was so weird, and there was a clown in it and everything. I'm pretty sure I saw a Chinese version of Final Fantasy VI, because the clown destroys his masters and becomes the new villain. Like I'm pretty sure it was like a Chinese Final Fantasy VI drama. Like there's like it has to be like a rip-off version of it. And there's a lot of heroes in it too. I can't remember what the name was for the sake of.
I know Final Fantasy isn't a ripoff of the drama.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
No, that can't be right.
I just realized I didn't change the video for when we were talking about Street Fighter. Sorry.
Oh, right. Why are we
go
talking about
go
clowns
back
and
to
Street
watch.
Fighter?
Go back and watch or listen to last week's episode if you want a hearty dose of Street Fighter love. um, yeah, but Final Fantasy VI, man, such a good game. All right, who wants to go next? They're number nines.
I'll go. Let's see. Hold on, let me put this in. So my number 9, and I think Keo can forgive me now that I'm picking this because it's cute. Kirby Superstar.
Oh man.
You want to talk about Mario All Stars? Well, Kirby Superstar is Mario All Stars with original games. That's cool.
What?
Wait, can we before we continue about Kirby Superstar? Can I ask is Mario All Stars? Are we able to put that on our list?
Yeah,
You can,
Why
but
I didn't.
I don't think it really defines what makes the SNES great. So that's
Okay.
why I didn't.
Yeah.
But Kirby Superstar, it's a lot of great short games, which is the opposite of Final Fantasy VI, which is one long game. There's some cool mini games too. I really like the one where you do the karate chop into the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I
and what's
love
cool is
one.
that like
Megaton Punch.
yeah, Megaton Punch, the original Megaton. What's cool is that like all these games they're not really connected. They feel kind of connected because you get to the very end and the last game is like no game is Kirby is a lot like Final Fantasy actually in that you start off little town hanging out and then at the end you fight God and or like you help the devil become God or something. Kirby's such an idiot. I love him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sakurai at his best, really.
Yeah, Kirby Superstar is actually very high up on my list. I love this game to death. This is like probably even now probably still my favorite Kirby game of all time. Actually, it's Kirby Superstar Ultra on DS is like one of my
Oh
favorite
yeah,
Kirby games. Such a good remake of that game.
boss
Yeah, I
mode, final boss
love
mode.
Kirby Superstar. This is so good. Like two-player mode, playing with my brother, just like creating the helper
Two-player
and then
mode?
just have them playing with you and you guys just get through all the different games. And like Ryu said, it's like every game is different but the same at the same time because like the gameplay is still the same, but they just
Mhm.
add like each game within there has like a different mechanic. And like
What is it? The Great Exploration Cave or
yeah,
something?
like the
Yeah.
Great Cave Offensive was, it's really good because it's like a Kirby game, but that's kind of free roaming,
Mhm.
and you can go to different areas. Then you have like Meta Knight's Revenge, where
Yeah.
it's like a very
That music.
heavy story
Better
based.
not.
Yeah, and like awesome boss battles, and yeah, and then the very end Milky Way Dreams when you fight Marks, like Ryu was saying, he turns into a devil god thing, and yeah, it's just like it's such a good game. Like yeah, one of my probably one of my top favorite games of all time. Kirby Superstar. I played like that game endlessly. I
Mhm.
I remembered like one time I had like this writing contest, like write a short story and you win this thingy like as a kid, and like I wrote a short story about Kirby Superstar. That's literally what I
Nice.
did.
That's so
I
sick.
wrote
Did you win?
I no, of course not. I because like I wrote a story about Kirby Superstar where they were in an RPG game, and so like it's a lot of it made no sense to whoever was reading it. They were probably
Yeah.
just like, why did this person keep saying minus 96 hit points? What is that?
You know, that reminds me. My cousin wrote a story based off of Dragon Ball Z,
Hmm.
and the teacher was just like you can see the writing on the paper. He's like, "Why is there a flying pig in this story? I don't understand what this pig does. Why was he introduced?" But I actually played Kirby Superstar Ultra first, and as much as I loved it, I kind of regret not renting that game when I was a kid because it was one of the games for Super Nintendo
Hmm.
that I would always see as a rental game. I was like, do I
Oh
really want to
man.
like, I didn't know how good Kirby was because I never played any Kirby games before then. I
Oh
just,
yeah. See, I played Kirby's the very first Kirby game on GB on Game Boy because my
uh,
cousin had it. Yeah,
uh,
and so
oh,
like
actually, maybe I did play it on Game Boy. Yeah, I think I did.
Kirby's Dream Land. So then, of course, when I saw that they was on coming out to Super Nintendo, of course, I had to rent it and play the absolute shit out of it. Oh man,
I
Rob,
love how
Did you play this or no? No. Okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
also the idea like
They're all the same to
everybody's
me, kind of.
the first Kirby game you play, the idea that someone
Sorry,
has infinite
Sakurai.
jumps is mind blowing.
Right.
Like, how is this? Like, you're like, doesn't this just ruin the whole game? And then you play it, and you're like, oh,
It kind of doesn't though.
yeah, it kind of doesn't. If anything, it makes it better. Like,
Yeah. It's a genius, Sakurai. Just pure genius.
pure genius. Seriously.
Yeah. All right. Who's next? Rob, what's your number 9?
Secrets of Mana.
Very good choice.
Ooh.
Like, yeah, you have a
Damn.
flying dragon thing.
Hey,
Well,
you
It
know,
was co-op, dude. You could play with a friend if a friend came over, and they could hop on whenever. Hop
you
on,
can use
hop off. It
the
was dope.
4-player port to play three up to 3-player
yeah,
co-op.
one of the very
Yeah.
few games to utilize the multi-tap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. And what's funny is it's also like, is it the first like RPG like in that style where it's like real time?
Action RPG. I
Action
guess
RPG.
I think so, or
I
it's
think
or
it
it's
might
close
be.
to it.
Yeah. I mean,
Because I feel like that was a marketing point.
were you
Yeah.
never interested in getting the remake on Switch?
I just didn't.
Mm.
That's exactly the slogan of my life. Why didn't you
Oh,
get gas, you idiot?
Secret of Mana
Rosebud.
is a good game. I remembered enjoying that game a lot too, but I never really beat it, and it's unfortunately not on my top 10.
Yeah, like I played with a friend, and he helped me through it.
It's a
Oh,
great
okay.
game. I remember my cousin had it, and it was kind of a big deal to them because it felt like a very Japanese game, like a very anime, like inspired type of game, and they were really big into anime stuff. So
Yeah. All right. Number 8.
Number 8. I'll just go first because it's already said. But pretty much every Street Fighter 2 game, like whatever you want to choose, is fine. But probably the best one is Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I think that's the one. Is that the one where like you can choose different versions of different characters?
You know, I don't remember actually.
Anyways, I think they also like introduced Akuma in that one too, or maybe one of the earlier versions. Anyways, it's a great game. It's pretty much the original DLC, really. You guys, we all complain about DLC prices now, but man, back then we had to buy a whole new game. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Rob, what's your number 8?
Are you ready? It's
What's
another wild card.
Oh, that was
Is it
That's
Matter?
probably not on anybody else's list.
All right,
ever.
what is it?
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Oh, I forgot about that game.
The fighting game?
No, not
No,
the no.
okay,
not the
good.
fighting game,
Adventure one, right?
unfortunately. Yeah, the adventure arcade one.
Yeah,
That one was fun.
I enjoyed
played
that
that a
game a
lot.
lot too. Yeah.
I never played that game.
You know, it was crazy is that game had like had an actual secret fighting mode in it. Like you had to enter a code and then you can like battle swords. Like you
And
could,
it's funny too because whenever you bring it up, the reaction is always the same. It's either someone reacts how Johnny reacts or how Ryu reacts. So it's perfect.
yeah, it's
A
like
fighting game.
You didn't choose the fighting game because that fighting game is broken. The
yeah. It
Ooze?
was-
Oh my god.
The Rangers always won, right?
No.
It was pretty broken and like who was actually like, you know, some characters were really powerful. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed that Power Rangers game too. It was really fun. I was kind of sad though that because I was expecting this game to play more like Turtles in Time, but you know that's not how it turned out. Which also Turtles in Time is not on my list, but who knows? It might be one of yours. We're on number 8. My number 8. I'll go next. My number 8 is. Mega Man X. Oh my god. Dude, I love this game. Mega Man X to me is like one of those like this is what made Mega Man cool. Like even though Mega Man was already big as you know as it like is as he was already, but Mega Man X was just like this is to me like what's I feel like started making people just like have this whole idea of speed running a game.
Even from the cover though too, like the cover or the art that was on the cartridge, even that made him look badass.
Yeah.
You're telling me there wasn't a human with a gun?
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. Like the music in this game is so good. Like there are people who still study like this game, like game design when it comes to Mega Man X because it's just how awesome this game was and how like well made this is. And like Zero was just like I love the idea that just like from the start, you know, there's this character that is so badass and cool. And you know he's just like one day you're going to be as powerful as me. Like it's so awesome, you know, with Zero, and Zero's such a cool character.
Is that Zero? I thought it was. Huh. Maybe it is Zero.
No, it's Zero.
Yeah,
like,
in the very opening stage, right?
Yeah, in the opening stage because you go against Vile, but you start losing, and Zero saves you, and he like slices off Vile's like.
Is Zero playable in the first Mega Man X game?
No, Zero becomes playable in Mega Man X3, I believe.
I do want to say like when Zero becomes playable, the idea that you can play through a game with either X or Zero, like two different play styles. You want to talk about replayability? Like that's amazing. That is incredible.
Yeah, and and it's just like Mega Man X is so cool, and I still remember when I was watching the American made a Mega Man show, and Mega Man X shows up. I was freaking out. It was like the coolest thing. Yeah, he had such awesome bosses too, like Spark Mandrill and Chill Penguin. Like it was just so cool. Like everything about this game was just cool. Like like we talk about how Sonic had attitude. I feel like this game had a lot of attitude.
Oh yeah. And what's crazy is that like one of my favorite moments is in that opening stage because you're running, the freaking ground breaks, and you're like, oh no, what do I do? And then you're like, well, just maybe over here I'll jump over. Oh my god, I can jump
I
on
could
the
jump on the
walls.
wall. Yeah,
Holy
and
crap!
is
Like
one of those.
that opening stage is perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
like what I was saying, like people still study this as game design. Like a lot of people refer to the opening stage of Mega Man X like as one of the greatest openings of all, like in all video games, because they do such a good job in teaching you what to do without holding your hand or actually telling you what to do. And
Yeah.
so yeah, wall jumping, dashing, man, this game has just had everything. It was so good.
It was great to it was great for people who've never played Mega Man, but it was also great to show what was different between Mega Man and Mega Man X.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah, yeah, great game. Great music too, and I
Yeah, the
think
music is
the
pretty
boss
iconic.
battles were really fun too. Yeah.
A friend of mine used the Spark Mandrill music on social media a couple weeks back, and that music was stuck in my head for a couple days after.
Yeah.
I think we're on 7 now.
Oh well, wait. Did everyone do their 8?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
'cause
Rob,
mine
you
was
did
2
yours,
turbo.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, so we are on 7. Yeah.
All right. So right here I have Rob's favorite game of all time. At number 7, I have Super Mario RPG, which Legend of Seven Stars. You know, Rob, I know you're in love with it. But I just want to show my appreciation for it too. Because Johnny is more into like the rolled ins with you stuff.
I hate you so much, Ryu.
No, Super Mario RPG, yeah, it's at number 7. Honestly, it was actually pretty high up. But I was just like, you know what? This might be the better game, but there's so many games that are just in my heart. So that's why it's kind of down there. But Super Mario RPG, when I first went at it with this game, it was kind of like I was kind of like just weirded out or disappointed by it, just because I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I never played RPG games before, and I couldn't figure out why. Like I was like, I couldn't fight anyone, I couldn't kill anybody in this town. I was like, what the heck? I'm trying to jump on his toad, and once I played it like for real, because I played it on the Wii shop, the shop, Nintendo Wii. Man, this game still, even till this day, it's timeless. Like you want to talk about the most timeless games in a console, it has to be Super Nintendo. Just because like everything's like, you know, the pixelated art works really well. The isometric view works really well. Like it wouldn't have worked. Mario jumping wouldn't have worked if it was like top down. Like it just in an RPG game. Also, you could see Bowser get kicked out of his own castle. You could play as Bowser. Peach.
Bowser got punked.
It started the trend of not being able to play as Luigi. Also, one last thing, the music for this game. So we were talking about Street Fighter 2 earlier. Both of those soundtracks are iconic, and they're both made by the same woman, Yoko Shimomura. Just incredible. She did the Kingdom Hearts soundtrack also. Like, yeah, like, how are you able to create the iconic tracks with such great, you know, just great variety overall?
She is definitely a legend in video game music. Yeah. I mean, you guys can probably guess where this lies somewhere on my list. Really high up there. Super Mario RPG.
Have you played this game?
Is one of my favorite games of all times. I never shut the hell up about this game. I love this game to death. Like even now, I feel like this game
Malo's your favorite character?
Stands the test of time. It really is such a well-made game. Square Enix, you know, Nintendo collabing, everything, like everything just works so well in this game, except for one thing. When I did do my like retro review of this game, there's one thing I forgot to mention. The platforming on this game sucks. Yeah, you know, like especially when you have to climb the vines in the clouds to get to Nimbus Land.
Yeah.
Man, that is so hard. But everything else in this game is like pure perfection. Yeah, I absolutely love this game. I never shut up about this game. Like, you know, it's still one of my pipe dreams for us to get like an actual, like either like an actual remake of this game, or a sequel, like an actual sequel to this game. Like, yeah,
it would have been great if this game got a remake on 3DS.
Like, yeah, it would have been awesome.
It would have been perfectly made for it. Also, I forgot what I was going to say. Man, I totally just blanked out. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
If it comes back, I'll tell you guys.
All right. Rob, I mean, anything you want to say about this game, or you want to move on to your number 7?
It did not make my top 10. but I did appreciate this game. Played it a couple times, never really beat it.
Oh, okay, I remember now. Sorry. So when Final Fantasy, you know how Final Fantasy 15, was it 15 that took forever to make? Um, Square was trying to figure out like how to catch that old magic, and what they did for training was they all studied Super Mario RPG and trying to figure out why it was, if you
Why
think
it's so
about it,
beloved.
yeah, people, I mean, I consider this game great because of it's kind of the perfect length. Like if it was a chapter longer, I don't know if it would have, you know, been
Yeah.
if it was as long as Final Fantasy 6, I don't know if I would have liked it as much for sure, or even any other Final Fantasies. But I just loved how it's kind of the same length as a lot of other 2D Mario games, maybe a little longer. But
No, you're absolutely right. The length I think is perfect. It's and people love this game because they love the characters. Like you
yeah,
know, it's Mario in a new world. Like being able to explore like this world of Mario and the RPG, and you know, starting like a new standard for RPGs with timed hits and everything. It's like, yeah, and just making the game very accessible, like to other people. You know, I don't know. It's just like there's a lot of really just great things in this game. Just make it together, make such a masterpiece.
what's great is the new characters they introduce. There's only two new playable characters. I mean, not two new playable characters, but two new like
Original
characters, which
characters.
is the right amount. I feel like they added more than it would have been too much.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see where this ranks on your Johnny. I'm curious to see where this ranks on your honorable mentions.
This is number 9.
Oh man. Well, the Super Mario RPG is not my number 7, but let me tell you what my number 7 is. My number 7 is Super Punch Out. I absolutely love the Punch Out series. Super
Ooh,
Punch Out is such a good game. I think Super Punch Out, like even till this day, I will grab my Switch randomly sometimes and just play it. Just like see how fast I can get. I can get to the world circuit. Just because, like, to me, I feel like this game was made perfectly for speedrunners because it's like it's such a fun game because like it is so different than Punch Out on the Nintendo. This actually is like more based off of the Punch Out arcade game, and so like you actually don't have rounds when it comes to like fighting your enemies. Like it's just all one round, and so so like it's kind of like nonstop action. Like so you're just constantly going, you know, trying to figure out counters, like dodging, knowing your opponent's patterns, and then like there's just so many fast ways to knock them out that like sometimes you kind of just like it's kind of fun to try to figure it out.
It's a speed run fighting game, pretty much. Like it's the fastest fighting game you can play. In you think about it, like it's also like pretty cool because I think that was like the first time I ever saw a game where you can see through yourself. Because it's like kind of like third person, but it feels first person. It's really cool. Yeah, I love that game.
Yeah, Super Punch Out, good game. Oh, I mean, you play this game like often or like?
I played it when I was a kid because my cousin had it and we played a lot, but I just kept losing to that damn Dragon Chan. Is his name Dragon Chan?
Dragon Chan, yeah. Just duck under his kick, dude. Like
that's illegal.
Yeah, I know.
Illegal.
Well, there's a lot of illegal things. Wait if you can make it to the special circuit. There's a guy in there named Hoi Kwar Lo. He uses a staff to hit you. Okay.
Oh my god, like, I never got that far.
Yeah.
Oh,
special circuit is kind of hard to get to.
What's funny is I went to a convention one time and it was like, it wasn't necessarily an anime convention. It was like a nerd convention. It's just in general.
Rob, if you're watching the stream, there's a character showing up right now on the stream. His name is Bob Charlie, and when you fight him, he goes ooh ooh, and then his coach, his ring manager, will be like, when you're starting to beat him up, he'll be like, "Come on, Bob, shuck and jive, shuck and jive." It's hilarious.
Is it the one with the braids?
Yeah, that's Bob Charlie.
I was at a convention once, and it was there was this guy and I forgot his name. I think who's the guy named Grizzly Joe or Grizzly?
Oh, you mean
he wears overalls, I think.
No, dang it! Now you got me confused. Bear Hugger.
Bear Hugger? Yeah. So there's a guy who I was like because everyone's cosplaying. I'm like, oh my god, it's Bear Hugger, and I was just like, I went up to him, and then the closer I got to him, the more I realized it was just some dude who dressed that way.
In overalls.
That's how he dresses.
So I was like, oh, Bear.
Oh man! All right, let's get into number 6.
Oh, Rob, did you do your 7?
Oh, my number 7 is Super Mario World.
Oh, I thought he did get to number 7. Sorry,
No.
Rob. Super Mario
at
World
7?
at 7?
Well, Chris is gonna be so mad. Like
Yeah,
Chris,
it's pretty high. It's pretty high.
That is
Chris and
not
Keo are
high.
gonna beat the crap out of
What the
us.
hell do you have that's
Oh,
above
pretty
Super?
low.
I'm starting to think Rob just hates Mario in general because this dude like.
He's like, I just want to play as Mario. I don't
And
want to play
you'll
as a
probably
hat.
think that, especially with my next choice.
So he hates Mario Odyssey, and he has Super Mario World at number 7 on the top. But it's okay. You know what, Rob? I won't hate because there are games that aren't on my list at all that I would probably get crucified later on for not putting on here. So I'll
Yeah, and
respect
I made
it,
this.
Rob.
I made this more for fun, not for serious. So
I think I'm seeing a trend here because when he's on Yoshi and Yoshi eats a certain type of color shell, the Yoshi becomes that shell. You know, and when he throws the hat in Odyssey, you get the enemy's power. I think Rob just hates getting other people's powers, man. Like how do you feel about Kirby?
I think Ryu, what we should do, because I'm pretty sure, is this higher on your list?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's save this then. Let's save our discussion for this.
Yeah.
Rob put it so low. I think let's save it for when we get to ours, at least. Whoever goes first, it comes to first.
I'm gonna text Chris and make sure he's okay. It's just Rob.
Chris
We're not having.
are you still alive, Chris?
For some reason, Chris is also taking a nap, and then he wakes up in a cold sweat.
Oh, I need another vacation.
Someone just made a bad opinion about Mario World.
His boss is like, "Oh, you're good. You're just go back for another week."
Number 7.
All right, number 6. Okay, now this is why I defend Rob, because my number 7 is one of those games where you guys probably crucify me for putting so low. Oh, sorry, number 6.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if I want to go first. I kind of want to say I kind of want to go after you guys go because I feel like it's going to be a very similar situation with Rob and Super Mario World.
All right.
Sure, I'll go.
My number 6
go ahead.
is Donkey Kong Country 2.
Oh, okay. That's good.
That's a cool game. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Game.
I don't. I'm like of
Great
the
game.
mind that Ryu has Donkey Kong 1, 2, Country 1, 2, and 3 like on his like top 5 somewhere.
Donkey Kong Country 2, it's like my favorite game of all time, but like I know it's not considered like top. I was trying and balance out what was considered the greatest games of all time, and yeah. But Donkey Kong Country 2, yeah, it's it's one of those games where it is better than the predecessor in every way. Like the best part is they took out Donkey Kong, so yeah. And then of course, like when the third game comes out, it's usually bad. So in film and in games, I guess.
Yeah, they took out freaking.
They put in back Donkey Kong. That's the worst part. Yeah, right. It's like, how do we combine Yoshi's Island with Donkey Kong 1? Kitty Kong.
I will say Donkey Kong Country 2 is not on my list at all. But this game is great. It's one of those games that I said I would get crucified for not putting on here. And to me, this is one of them. But like this game is great. It is such a good game. But
I don't blame you because like Super Nintendo is like
stacked.
Yeah. So
it's really hard.
It's pretty much the PS1, but with Nintendo first-party games added. I feel like like the PS2 is probably the greatest third-party system ever, but PS1 is like the greatest balance of both. I feel. Oh, sorry, SNES. SNES is the best.
Did he rocking out with his boombox?
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to talk about Donkey Kong right now, Ryu? Like, because I'm pretty sure this is higher on your list, right? Or no?
No, this game is totally not on my list. I don't know what you're talking about.
You want to save your discussion till when we get there?
What? I mean, we could talk about it. It's not on my list, so I don't know what we talk about. So.
All right. Well, let's go to my number 6 then. My number 6, very controversial.
Oh.
My number 6 is The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Yeah. See, look at Rob. I knew it. I knew he was gonna like. He was
gonna kill you too, right? Like, kill like Link to the Past. I feel like she does.
Rob left.
I don't blame you because, I'll wait till Rob comes back so I could get him to leave again. I actually don't have this game on my list, so you can. Yep.
Oh
what? Well, I expected that from you. To be honest.
The thing is, I didn't play it much. That's the only reason why. I still. When I was a kid, like I said, I didn't know what I was supposed to do in like those type of games because I was like
wasn't much direction.
Yeah. So I was a simple man back then. I was put me in I don't know,
Give me something linear, damn it.
Yeah, yeah, right. Even Super Mario RPG is more linear than Link to the Past. So
Yeah, I mean,
even then that game confused me.
I kind of like, if I had a little more time to think on it, like this game probably should have been in my top 5. So, and I realized that I placed it on top 6. I think maybe I should have switched it with whatever I put at number 5, but you know, I already said it, so I'm just gonna have to live with it. But this game is great. Link to the Past, still probably one of my favorite Zeldas of all time. Even though I think Breath of the Wild takes the cake for that, but this one it's so good. Like this game is so good. Like
Breath of the
having
Wild
a dark
is
world, you know, like having the mirror thing. So, you know, Rob, even though I placed it low,
Wiseman.
even yeah, even though I placed it low, you know what I mean. You placed Super Mario World at 7, you know what I mean. So,
And
and I'm not even on the list. I put Yoshi's Island at 10, so that was pretty. Oof.
I mean, do you
Going
have?
down.
I assume you have this higher, Rob, on
I
your
do.
list? Okay. Do you want
I
to
do.
discuss? Do you want to discuss it now, or do you want to just wait till we get to you? To you?
I guess we'll wait.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably better.
All right. So then number 5's then for everyone.
Right? No,
Mine is Yoshi's
I
Island.
did 6. I didn't do 6 yet.
Oh.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, no, wait, sorry. It is 5. It
You
is 5.
did.
You're right.
Okay. What is your 5? Ryu.
Oh, well, Rob already said his, so he can just talk about it first.
Well, we talked about it already because you went
Yoshi's
first.
Island?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm with Rob. Yoshi's Island is also my number 5.
Oh,
But
okay.
see, you see how I'm saying, like, I could switch those two around.
Right. See, I was in the same category. And like 4, 5, and 6 are kind of interchangeable, especially 5 and 6. But my number 5 is Final Fantasy 4, which I didn't play until the Game Boy Advance version, I believe. But it has incredible music, like some of the most iconic themes. It has my favorite battle theme. I remember when I first heard this battle theme, I couldn't figure out why it kept playing every time I was in the battle, even though I knew what RPG games were by that time because I was an adult. Like I played multiple RPG games, but I was like, this battle theme is so good. I thought it was like a power up theme or a battle. Yeah. So I was just like, okay, so because you start off as as like this high like ranking knight, and I was just like, man, what the hell is going on? So I went out in the fields and I'm like, this theme is still playing, and I still love that theme to death. And then most of all, as it's a simple, like, you know, Final Fantasy 6 is more complex. It's a very simple game in the storyline, simple themes, accessible. It's pretty difficult in some areas. You fly to the moon with the space whale.
Space whale?
Yeah, there's a space whale that flies to the moon.
Spoilers.
Yeah, it's Final Fantasy. You're bound to be on. Anyways, lastly, as I looking back on it, the fact that I played it when I was older kind of made me appreciate it more because it's the first Final Fantasy game. I think it might be the first RPG game with a active time battle system, and that, you know, changed everything. Like Final Fantasy 4 to 13, maybe. I mean, like, it's pretty much a staple of Final Fantasy games. The what do you call it? What do you call it in League of Legends when it's like waiting for the next attack to happen?
I don't know. I only play Pokemon Unite.
What is that? A burn time or
a cooldown?
Cooldown, yeah. So it's kind of like a cooldown system, but like
Yeah.
back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never played this one, so I don't really have much to say about it. But
Neither have I.
Final Fantasy IV, is that the one with the battle theme song where it's like
Battle of the Four Beasts?
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
Isn't that the battle theme for Culex in Mario RPG? Okay.
Yeah. And it's not even like a final boss battle. It's literally like these 4 bosses that are like, whenever you fight them, they have that theme. It also has like, yeah, just really great tracks. It has Theme of Love, which is the most famous love theme in video games in Japan. So they play that. You learn that song in school if you're in music class in Japan. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. That was your what?
Dude thought he was
5?
just making music for a video game. Now it's in schools.
All right, we are now on number 4. Who wants to go first? They're number 4. Rob's face.
Okay, so this is the only game on the list that I haven't beaten, but every time I do, I do love this game, but it's yeah, Chrono Trigger at number 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's a time travel game, but like it actually feels like you're time traveling. Like there's other games with time travel, but this one is like, hey, I need to get the sword, but it's broken and rusty. I
Oh
know.
yeah, it took
I'll go
advantage
back
of
in
that.
time. Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's, multiple endings. I didn't beat the game, but
Or the whole tree thing, or the whole robo in that forest.
yeah, the first Rickroll, right? Uh, Robo's theme is just Rickroll. I don't know if you guys know that, but
I did not.
it's yeah. Akira
That's crazy.
Toriyama.
That was supposed to be on my list, but I forgot to add it. I guess I thought
Okay,
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was better.
Where would you add this on the list since you know about it?
Well, obviously it'd be above Super Mario World because you don't think very highly of that game.
It would be above Super Mario World. I was just about to say it would be in my top 7 at least.
Okay.
If I couldn't put it in my top 5, it would be in my top 7.
So here's my thing is like I've never beaten Chrono Trigger, but the thing is I've never played it enough for me to really appreciate the game either. Because I've never rented the game. It was more of just like I was at a friend's house and I played it for like 10 minutes. Even though like I tried to see if I could like try to like really get into it. Like I actually have it on my phone. I actually purchased it like, the phone version. And so I was planning on trying to play through this game just because everyone just talks about how this game is a masterpiece, but I don't know, I just never really got into it. Like I just never, I never really booted up either. So
I don't blame you though, because so I got this as a present. It was for sure a Christmas present, and I think my mom only got it because she asked what a popular game was.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy gave her that one, but I was like, what the hell? I'd never played that type of game before. I put maybe like 10 minutes into it, and it stayed there until my buddy was over. He played it, fell in love with it, got his parents to buy it for him, and then he sold me on replaying it.
Nice.
Did you how far did you get? Do you know? Do you remember?
I'm pretty sure I beat it.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, because this was something that was going on between me and him for like at least a year or two. Like it was Chrono Trigger was something we were working on.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Chrono Trigger came up before. It had to have come up before Final Fantasy VI, right? Maybe. But anyways, it's really great characters, really great villain too.
One of the first games with a New Game Plus, I believe.
Oh shoot, I think you're right. Yeah. What's funny is if you because you can fight the boss really early too. I think that's one of the first games where you can fight the villain really early. I think if you do it, like if you cheat your way through it, you end up in a secret room with like the developers, and you're like, yeah, you're not supposed to be here, buddy.
Yeah, like I think the teleporter pod ends up taking you straight to the main boss, but you fight it with just Chrono, the main dude.
Right, yeah, because you're early in the game, yeah. And then the fact that you could go to the end of time is really cool. Like that's literally your hub is the end of time.
Hearing how you guys talking about Chrono Trigger, like it really makes me wonder why Rob was like, doesn't mention wanting
over Tiny Toons,
Chrono in like Smash Brothers or something. See, look, I have it on my phone. I get to go name Chrono Buttface. So yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of weird that his name is Chrono without the H, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, huh? Oh. All right. We're on 4, right?
Yeah. My number 4 is NBA Jam.
That's a good one.
Boom shakalaka.
Terminator Edition.
Boom shakalaka. Yeah. That's a good
one is.
That's a very.
He's on fire.
It's not on my list, but it's a good choice, Rob.
That's a good If I wouldn't blame you if you had it on your honorable mentions or the top 10 list. Like that's
it was a good party game. I mean, when you had family getting together and you had NBA Jam, you were good.
What's great is you didn't have to worry about having any sorry players because there's only 2 players, right? 2 players per team.
I think 3 maybe.
3, yeah.
Or it was 2 with the substitute.
It's 2v2.
Oh. Well, I mean, like how much the rosters were like? How big were the rosters? There were only like 2 people, right?
Yeah, the roster literally was just 2 people per team.
Yeah. Well, Stockton Malone.
Yeah, or was it like Pippen and Jordan? I don't know.
Yeah.
I've heard,
So,
yeah.
I think what's cool about that game is it's kind of like how I feel about wrestling games. In for like Nintendo 64, PS, whenever, because they kind of have that arcadey, but like not too arcadey feel, where like you feel like I don't know, anyone can jump in and have fun. I guess that's what I like about that game. And you can shoot 4
Yep.
players.
And be on fire.
Be on fire. He's on fire.
Yeah, the one that I have up on the stream. This is not the SNES version; it's the arcade version, but still a great game nonetheless.
I think what sports games try and do today, they try and be more realistic. I actually think that hurts the gameplay and the graphics too. They all still look like monsters. Like they all still look hella ugly. You know, you could have gone for like a cell shaded look even, or like, or just like something a little bit more stylized, and then don't take the game too seriously. Just like it's not going to be a full on simulation.
Oh, you mean the NBA Jam, the one on Xbox?
Yeah, well, that's more of a remake, right?
Or
Yeah.
whatever the game was that little kid was making in that recently released movie that included a couple of people and some
one that deleted-
cartoon characters.
That one that deleted people, yeah. We don't
Oh,
talk.
the-
Well,
Yeah.
that's spoilers.
Ryu's like movie of the year, yeah.
And I like Looney Tunes. It's good if you're a Looney Tunes fan. So.
My number 4, we're number 4, right? Number 4 game on Super Nintendo is Super Mario Kart, the very first one. Great game. I mean,
That's
this
another
was
one that probably should have been on my list instead of
Tiny Toons.
Power
Tiny
Rangers.
Toon Adventures.
Okay, so like, let's go back in time. Rob is taking out Power Rangers and Tiny Toons, and he's replacing them with Chrono Trigger and Super Mario Kart. That is a better list, Rob. It's a better list.
But
Chrono Trigger's number 8.
But Chrono Trigger and Mario Kart is above Mario World, right?
But yeah, Super Mario Kart. Talk about genre defining, right? This is like the kart racer, the fun arcade kart racer.
The kart racer.
Yeah, the kart racer started it all. It's super fun. Great
Those-
music, awesome
The
characters.
maps are so
like,
basic when you go back and look at them.
yeah, because
Yeah.
everything is just flat, but it's still
Square.
if you try playing it, it's still kind of fun.
It's still fun,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, but of course, Mario Kart 8 is so much better. But like just playing through it, you're just like, okay, like the drifting is very different, but the game is still fun, especially when you think back, like this is the first one, and you're just like,
Yeah.
Nintendo did good. Nintendo did
It's
good.
also genre defining in 2 ways, in that it's the first Mario like all-star characters game, if you think about it. Like, because after that, then you got the sports games and all that, but it started in Mario Kart, and then it's also the genre defining in that it started Mario Kart music. Like, you can hear Mario Kart music whenever, like, if it plays, like, let's say it's a random video game radio station, if it plays, you know that it's Mario Kart. You're on that YouTube channel. I didn't even know that what type of genre that was as a kid, because obviously it was chiptune and all that. It wasn't until like Mario Kart 8 where I'm like, wait a minute, a lot of this stuff is like really jazzy and like almost salsa, or yeah.
This is also the game that like I would constantly beat my brother in, and then he'd get really mad and start fighting me, like attacking me. Like he would like hit me with the controller and stuff, and I'd be like,
Someone's a
"Ow,
sore loser."
Mom." Yeah, well, it's because I beat him all the time. You know what I mean?
As you
It's
should.
like, you know what I mean? Like I just.
Sorry for beating.
But and then of course
I'm just better than you.
my
Get
response,
good.
yeah,
I'm
my
just better than
response
you
was
guys.
always get good. It was never, and my mom would have to take me to the side. Just let your brother win every now and then, and I'm just like, no. Like,
He should
just
be
needs-
better.
He needs to get good.
It's like when you do the sweeps, or like the Dalsum like stretchy arms. You're like, stop cheating! You're cheating. Get good. Stop cheating.
Yeah, I mean nowadays, like he's, when it comes to Mario Kart, nowadays we're neck and neck. Like he beats me every now and then, I beat him every now and then. So we're a lot more even now than than back then. Okay, that we did our number 4s, right?
Yeah.
All right, number 3. We already talked about this game because Ryu brought it up already, but my number 3, Kirby Superstar. I already talked about how awesome this game
Kirby
was.
Superstar.
Yeah, it is my number 3. It's just, that's just how much I love Kirby Superstar. Such an awesome game. So
I
fun.
want a Kirby game where like he accidentally helps like Satan take over the world, and then he has to team up with like I don't know Jesus and fight him. I don't know, something like that would be cool.
All right, how about you guys?
Jesus shows up. Kirby, what did you do?
What? Fire.
I sacrificed myself for this.
How about you guys? Number threes.
Oh, number three.
Mine
we're at
was also already mentioned, so I'm just gonna go for it.
Mm-hmm.
It was Mega Man X.
No,
Ooh.
oh, that's good. Yeah, I very
Great game.
respectable. Very respectable to have that on there.
I played it a lot.
Mine is already mentioned earlier, but Super Mario World. Oh, actually, I guess we could talk about it now. Super Mario World is my number
Yeah,
three.
we didn't really talk about it earlier. You guys were like, "How dare he?"
I know. How dare.
um, it's kind of hard for me to like appreciate this game because like it was one of the first games that I like. It's literally the first game that I owned.
Mm-hmm.
Not the first game that I played, but the first game that I owned, and I played it so much it's like overplayed in a way. Like I still like I love this game, but wanting to play it is kind of difficult for me. But when I do play it, it's a blast. But you know, has a connected overworld, which I don't
Awesome.
know if any platformers ever had that.
Not
Um,
well. Mario 3, but yeah, you couldn't go back.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's kind of like this sense of exploration. Really great controls. I pretty much figure out how to do controls for Mario in that one, like for
Mm-hmm.
2D.
I mean,
And
it's
then
still even now like 2D Mario. I think most people still consider Mario World to be the best like 2D
yeah,
version because even like when I play Mario Maker, like any of my levels I make, it's usually a Mario World
mhm,
style. Like because it's too you can't beat it. It's too good.
yeah. It kind of has that organic feel to it in that like, especially when you beat the special worlds, like
Mm-hmm.
what it shows you like we talk about New Game Plus, like that's kind of a New Game Plus in that. Well, yeah, at least in the graphics department, but I remember just being mind blown. Like, what the heck? The season changed. It's October. It's fall. Like these, I was actually kind of like just almost like horrified by the turtles because I was like, why do they have mustaches? Like, or these?
Oh yeah, I remember that when I beat. Yeah, I mean, and that was also like a surprise to me too. Is like the branching paths, and
Mhm.
like when you unlock Special World, man, that was so cool. Like you go to Star Road and everything. It was such a surprise to me because didn't know about it prior, and then
Yeah,
so when I actually like unlocked it, I was like, whoa, this is so cool. Like how did I get here? Like why are all these like stage names Mondo and Tubular and like name
Manila Dome.
yeah
Yeah.
Cowabunga. I don't know if that was a real world name, but yeah,
Ninja
it
Turtles.
was. It was so cool. It's so 90s, but yeah, this game is like as close to platforming perfection as platforming perfection can be. It's such a good game. Mario Maker. I always like use this style, and yeah, I mean for you guys, Ryu, it's your number three. For me, this is my number one. I'm just gonna get it out of the way right now. Like Super Mario World number one. When people ask me what's your favorite game of all time, it,
I said number 7.
I usually say Super Mario World. It bounces back and forth, but usually like the one that I could like safely say and not like feel regret saying it is if they
Mhm.
someone were to ask me favorite game of all time, I always say Super Mario World because this game is just like that good. Like
It has to be the like man, like it's kind of sad because I can't think of a 2D Mario game that came out after that that even comes close to Super Mario World
none of them do.
and Super
Yeah,
Mario 3. Like I'll say Super
yeah.
Mario 3, Super Mario World. I'm like, man, like I guess Nintendo doesn't want to make the same game. I get it, but like it's kind of sad. Like
Yeah, like is even till this day, like you said, there's nothing like there's no 2D Mario game that can top this.
even the
Like
music is can't even
yeah,
come
oh my
close to
god,
it.
like the music in
It's
this
the
game is
same
just amazing.
song over and over, and it works. How did you do
Yeah.
that? How did you do that, Koji Kondo? Like I've never seen that. Might be the first game with like a motif in music too. Like
But like even just like every world that you go to has like its own song in the overworld. Like, when you
yeah,
get to like Illusion Forest, you know what I
that's
mean?
my
Like
jam.
it's so iconic, like everything in this game. And yeah, it's just like, being able to and like I was saying Speedrunner's Paradise, right? Like this game is definitely meant for that too because it's like you can beat this game like legitimately so fast by going through like just a certain pathway and like
Yeah,
shortcut to Bowser's castle. Like it's just so good. Like this game could just be played replayed like endlessly and like just like trying to find all the different paths and everything. And it's just like since it's Mario, it's so like it's just so well made, so polished. Like Yeah, this game is like perfection.
I remember my sisters beat this game. I think that was the first game they beat, and then later on, I think it might have been the first game that I beat. And you'll never forget that feeling of like, because first you're intimidated. You're like, oh, I don't. Especially when you watch someone else play it, and you're like, I don't think I can beat this boss. And you're a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Then you beat it, and man, something about Nintendo, they know how to do the credits roll so like to your heart. Like even Super Mario 64, it's just like I guess they ran out of space. So Super Mario 64's credits is just the same song like looped over and over. It's not even a song.
Mm-hmm.
It still gets you. And Super Mario World does the same thing. So
Yeah. Like even now, like the moment you said like the credits music, I already have it in my head. Like as I'm watching like this, yeah, as I'm watching this playthrough, like every time I see these levels, like I already know what song is playing. Like right
yeah.
now, like he's in this lava world, you know, like dong 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 dong
You
dong
know,
dong dong dong.
nowadays we have HD TVs. Back then we had like these blurry TVs. I didn't know that like the things that were popping out of the lava were eyeballs. I was so confused when I first saw them. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Oh man,
I saw
Mario
flame
World.
balls, but then all of a sudden you get an HD TV and you're looking at them, they got eyes and stuff.
Did they also like when you beat the game, the credits like I didn't know these enemies had names, and I was like, oh my
Oh
god, like
yeah, and
this
then
is
like
so
finding out
cool.
the enemies' names, you're just like,
Yeah.
whoa.
That's a
Yeah.
reward now. Like
Mm-hmm.
back then, like that was a reward. You got to see lore as a
Mm-hmm. As
yeah.
like a reward for beating the game. Yep.
Especially a game with like nothing in it.
Yep. All right, guys. Yeah, Rob said his number 3. Let's get to our number 2s.
My
All
number
right.
2 is A Link to the Past.
Okay, nice, nice. I mean, you just got upset at me for putting it low. I mean, is there a reason why it's so high up for you?
I was able to play it several times through when I was a kid. It's probably one of the first games I ever beat.
Mm-hmm. First Zelda game
And
too, I assume.
yeah, first Zelda game. And I don't know, I just enjoyed it a lot. I was able to keep playing it, keep enjoying it.
How about you,
Very
Ryu?
well done. Very well done game. I loved it.
What what's your number 2, Ryu?
Um, I I don't want to remind us about that certain delay, but Super Metroid is my number 2. I mean, Super Metroid is the most timeless game of all time in my opinion.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, like it's funny because it's the art style is great. The music is still just as eerie as when you first heard it.
Yeah.
The level design in terms of, we talk about like games that are linear. This game is actually like secretly linear in that like you're kind of forced to go where they're supposed to tell you to go, and then eventually you start to do your own exploration. But it's like just really great. Like if you want, like it's kind of like how Mega Man X's opening is. Like that opening is pretty uh how can I say it? Teaches you really well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so controls, once you get them down, like controls are actually pretty easy, but it does take a while to get used to it. And then later on, you start to get these controls that are a little bit more difficult, like the wall jump or whatever.
Ugh.
Um,
I hate
Great
doing the wall
story.
jumps. Talk
Yeah,
about like talk about like a game that made wall jumps so awesome, Mega Man X. Like Super Metroid. Wall jumps are
yeah.
so hard to pull off in this game. Because I tried replaying it on Switch and I was getting very frustrated with wall jumps.
But once you get it down, it's satisfying. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to play it for a while. And that ending is so
Oh,
sick,
the ending is so iconic.
so
Such a
iconic.
great ending.
Probably like one of the greatest video game twists in like ending in video game endings. Yeah.
Yeah, I still remember that. Like, yeah, when all of a sudden it just the baby Metroid just comes out of nowhere and saves you from
Whoa,
Mother's Brain.
spoilers.
Whatever. This game's like already. Go play it, guys. Whoever hasn't played, it's a
Been
very
damn
old
near
game.
30 years.
Just watch a speed run of the whole game. It's only 5 minutes long. I remember there was a video actually of what is it? Kids react, and they reacted to Super Metroid, and they're playing it, and like when they died, the kids were freaking out. This was a couple years ago. When they died, the kids were freaking out because they were like, I was a woman the whole time? No way. And it just shows you like even now the idea of being a woman in a video game is like, kind of mind blowing. But
Yeah, and especially because like she's a woman, which I mean, yeah, you don't know that she is, but at the same time, it's also like, they don't. That's not the focus of the
that's
game.
not the
You know
point.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not the point of fact that she's a woman. It's like, no, you're playing as this awesome bounty hunter named Samus Aran, and then she also just happens to be a woman.
She's she has to be like I mean, she's the first lady of video games. That's how I
Yeah,
look at it.
me too. Yeah, I agree.
And she's also in technically she's a mother in that game, and that's not the point either. It's literally the final battle is Mother Samus versus Mother Brain.
Oh my god, this person YouTube that I saw, Noswinger, like I'm getting very frustrated with them and their grappling hook because they're not they're not doing it. It's not. They keep falling. Yeah, Super Metroid. Now, this is one of the ones, right, where I said I'm gonna be criminalized for not putting this on my top 10, and I still there is regret that I don't have this on my top 10. But when I look at everything else here, like I loved all these other games more than I love Super Metroid.
Oh
So,
yeah.
but Super Metroid's like number 11. Like this one I said number 10 was really hard because it legit was down to Street Fighter and Super Metroid. Like I didn't know which one to put at number 10, and I ultimately went with Street Fighter, and that's what I said. Why I feel like there's some bias because we just watched a stupid movie last week. So like,
Dang, that movie should have made you hate it more, but it's whatever.
Yeah, Super Metroid's such an awesome game though. Yeah.
Also for Super Metroid fans out there on YouTube, someone redid the soundtrack in analog. And it sounds incredible. So
Oh my god, the Brickster, right? Yeah, they
no, it wasn't Brickster. It was
Oh,
it was like years before Brickster actually.
Oh, I got you.
But it's a remake. It's not like
Oh, not like
a high def chiptune. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I know like they started putting some Mario RPG ones on there too.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just mind-blowing.
Rob, what did you say your number 2 was? You have to think about it.
Oh, I said A Link to the Past.
Oh, okay. That was your number 2. Sorry. My number 2 is if anyone has been keeping track, I said that Kirby Superstar and Super Mario World are higher up, and I revealed where their positions were. So the last one I said was Super Mario RPG. So Super Mario RPG is my number 2 Super Nintendo game of all time. Like I've already spazzed about it enough. Just know that that's where it is, and on any given day, like it could easily take number 1 spot from Super Mario World, but it's Super Mario World is just so hard to beat. Yeah, so it's just
that 1 and 2 spot is tricky. Like it's almost like you're battling your favorite game versus the best game you play.
Yeah, it's true. All right. I guess now we're down to our number 1s. I mean, since you guys already know what my number 1 is,
ready?
You guys already know mine is Super Mario World, so mine's out of the way. So now it's just down to Rob and Ryu. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. So obviously we talked about it earlier with the Mario Kart, but I like racing games. I like karts, and there's another kart-based game on Super Nintendo, and that is
Crash Bandicoot?
Diddy Kong. Oh yeah, Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Conquest. You talk about the best carts? Ooh, that mine cart.
I mean, you're right. It is the minecart levels in Donkey Kong are like the best.
Yeah.
Like I mean,
why I did the best in the Donkey Kong series is because you don't have to worry about Donkey Kong's slow ass. So.
And best in general. I mean, they're literally gonna make a ride based off of it. That's how good and iconic those kart rides are.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
For Super
I hope
Nintendo
they
World.
play because if you in Donkey Kong Country 2, it takes place in the carnival. So I hope they play the carnival music. So yeah, anyways, sorry. Donkey Kong Country 2, incredible platforming. Just you're pretty much playing as 2 Diddy Kongs, and one of those Diddies is more broken than the other. And then music is incredible. David Wise is just rare. Just is blessed with composers apparently. I feel like the art style actually looks better. I don't know if it's different, but it feels like it looks better. The worlds are more creative. It's kind of cool because you start off from like the ship of the first level of the first game, the battleship of the first game. Uh, King K. Rool gets his signature suction cup thing, uh, and man, just overall, I told this story before how like I asked my dad to buy this game, and for some reason he bought it. I didn't cry. I didn't ask him a thousand times. It never works, and for some reason he bought me that game. But he bought me the wrong one. He bought me Donkey Kong Country 1, and the next day he like switched it out. If you're young, that sounds like, oh, you just go to the store and switch it. When you get to like adult age, you're coming off of work, tired as hell. You go home, and you're probably in traffic, and you're like, oh shoot, I should buy my son this game. You go to the store, buy the game. He's not trying to impress anyone. You know, like earlier, like I was telling you about, like this is a Donkey Kong game. And then he found out he bought the wrong game. The next day he does the same thing. Like, honestly, that's my favorite video game. But like, that's like my favorite memory of a video game. Not the gameplay itself, but like the fact that my dad did that. Like, that's like, as I get older, like I'm just like, Dad, thank you so much. Like, you didn't have to go through all that. It could have been any other game, honestly. Like, the fact that he did that, like, shout out to my dad. So.
Yeah. Donkey Kong Country 2, like really good game. You know, kind of like refined what they did in Donkey Kong Country 1. You know, Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong, I think, are probably more fun to be than Donkey Kong is, because like Ryu says, like you don't have to deal with Donkey Kong's slow ass.
Or Donkey Kong's crying ass.
Yeah. Great game.
It's pretty much the Dark Knight of Donkey Kong Country. That's how I look at it.
All right, Rob. What's your number one?
Are you ready?
This bit. You know, I'm kind of interested because like I thought Link to the Past would be your number one, so I'm kind of wondering what your number one's going to be.
Can we take a
guess? Like I said, we put this together like a half hour before we recorded this, so this is not like, this is half joke.
Can we all take a guess?
Go for it. You're not gonna guess it.
My guess is Contra 3.
Contra 3.
Kind of, but no.
My guess is Mario Paint.
Ooh, I think both are pretty good guesses.
Yeah, I didn't even see it on the list, but my number one is Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Oh my.
Because I mean, like, the weapons were ridiculous. The storyline was kind of ridiculous. It was fun to play. It wasn't semi-procedurally generated. Was that a thing back then? Like, were all the levels almost random?
You know, I thought I heard that too, but I don't know if that's entirely true.
I don't. They made it seem like it was. If they weren't random, then they made it seem like it was.
I will say, I was kind of hoping, based off of your name, that it was Super Smash TV, but
you know, oh dude,
that would have been sick.
Honorable mention Super Smash TV.
Oh, man.
Zombies Ate My Neighbors, man. That's one of those cult classic games where, like,
I respect that.
Not a lot.
They redid it. They re-released it.
They re-released it. Yep. You didn't get it? Did you get it?
I didn't. I forgot.
Yeah, and then this game actually had a sequel, which I don't think a lot of people realize. I didn't even know that.
Oh, right. Either. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think it did.
Isn't it kind of different?
Yeah, but it is a sequel, though. But yeah, Zombies Ate My Neighbors, man. Good choice. I mean, yeah, it's one of those like cult like games that not too many people like would have remembered playing it or even played it, but those who have, you know, it's very memorable.
Honestly, giant baby that kills you. I mean,
yeah,
that's how you should pretty much treat art. I would say, like music, movies, video games. Like you should just, you know, stick to like what you love the most. Like there's games that, like, you know, if I paid attention to the reviews, or movies that if I paid attention to like what's critically acclaimed or not, like games like that kind of define your childhood, you know, like, or define your what you love. Like Sayonara Wild Hearts is like a top 10 game for me, like, honestly, even though it's not the most critically acclaimed game, but you know.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has that game that, like, it wasn't, even though it's not like critically acclaimed, like it's still one of their favorite games.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I remember one of the lists that we're gonna do. Actually, maybe I'll save it for later. But the top underrated Nintendo games. My number one, like no one would be able to guess it. Like, I'll give you a
Is it
hint.
Zombie Ate My Neighbors? Zombies Ate My
Yeah,
Neighbors?
part two though, not the first one. It's yeah.
There's a
Damn,
great
that was a good list, Rob. Actually, I dig that list.
there's a great dorkly bit about this game, like that parody of this game. It's really funny, Rob. I'll send it to you later. Oh man, yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, because aren't they like, what are you doing
Yeah,
here?
what are you doing here?
Have you seen the
Who
one where
left this
Dorkly?
baby out here in the middle of a zombie apocalypse?
Seen the Dorkly one of
These are lava fields. Why is there a baby here?
they do one on Mario destroys a castle in Super
yeah.
Mario World. He's just like, quick, get those baby Goombas out of here.
He's like, oh,
I can't make it. It's too late. Leave me.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say we could try to just make like our own our rank, like put our ranks together, but you know, we've been going long already, so I think it's a good stopping point for us.
I had a
mean,
feeling we were in
don't need
trouble
our-
when we were stuck on number 7 at a half hour into this.
Yeah, I realized that too, and I was like, oh man. But
Luckily,
then I
we got
also
calm
realized
games.
it was gonna speed up too because a lot of us were saying each other's like top threes. So like, yeah.
The bottom 5 had a lot of variety for sure because
Oh, really quick, you guys want to get honorable mentions out there?
Oh, yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
Fast, like really quick.
let me pull my list out.
So I'll do mine. Honorable mentions one that none of us mentioned already. Yoshi's Cookie. I thought that was a really
Ooh.
fun puzzle game that I really enjoyed. Killer Instinct, which
Mm.
Oh,
is
that was
awesome,
on my honorable mention.
but like made better though with the N64 version.
Yeah.
TMNT Ninja Turtles Turtles in Time.
Turn time. Yep.
Good game. Mario Paint, one that I mentioned earlier. I would have loved to put that on here, but yeah, it's just Mario Paint's such a good game. And Kirby's Dream Course.
Ooh.
Such a fun game when you just go against someone and it's golf but Kirby style. It's so fun.
They made golf interesting before Mario Golf.
Yeah, they really did because like since it's a Kirby game, there's power ups and everything.
Technically, there's Mario Golf and NES. Huh? Never
Oh
mind.
my
Or
god,
Game Boy.
these things are terrifying in Zombies Ate My Neighbors. It's like big giant
Snakeoids?
worms. Yeah.
So my honorable
Jesus Christ.
mention. It's funny. The first game is Link to the Past. I only put it there because I never played it. So the second game is Contra 3, which I mentioned earlier. But Contra 3 is like the first time I ever. Contra 3 and Street Fighter 2 was the first time I ever saw a game where I knew that games weren't just for kids. Because my uncle, he's a pretty old guy, he could beat Contra 3 on the highest difficulty without the Konami code or anything. And then Street Fighter 2 also, like, he could beat in high difficulty. Another one is, you said Turtles in Time. Pocky and Rocky 1 and 2.
Never played it, but it looked really fun.
Yeah, it's pretty much like a Japanese arcade.
Never even heard of it.
Oh, I think you'll love it, Rob. Honestly, look up some video of it. I think you'll like it.
Sail the Seas, Rob.
Artie Lightfoot is a very like hidden gem game. I highly recommend it if you're into platformers. It is difficult, but it's the first time you'll ever see like someone die in a 2D platformer, or actually a couple of people die in a cute ass game. And then last one, I don't remember if I played this or not, but Mickey Mouse Magical Quest.
Oh, dude. Oh, so fun. Mickey Mouse.
The Capcom Mickey Mouse games are amazing.
So good.
Amazing.
The Capcom ones, yeah.
Actually, any Capcom Disney game is great. Like you have DuckTales, Aladdin, Castle of Illusion. Castle of Illusion was my
I played Castle of Illusion.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Sorry.
The Jello
Castle of
stage.
Illusion.
Oh, love that game.
The Jello stage.
That was creepy, right? Because you could die in Jello.
Oh yeah, another honorable mention I forgot to mention besides Smash TV, Earthworm Jim.
I don't like that game.
Oh, I liked Earthworm Jim.
I don't remember if you said one of these, so I'm just gonna say them both. Aladdin and Lion King.
Oh, Lion King.
No, Aladdin King on East is
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, just don't try it on a medium or hard difficulty because you're just gonna want to.
I wonder
break a
how
controller.
much I would like the game more if they took out the monkey puzzle stage.
It's really funny because none of us put Earthbound, and it just really makes me wonder even if Chris or Keo were here, if Earthbound would be on there. I'm starting to think
I
that
probably
none of us
should.
really cared much for Earthbound.
I didn't beat it. So that's the other thing. I was
Same.
going for games that either I had a really great, like really strong ties with, or something that I know I beat it.
But like even okay, so say you got rid of that rule that you needed to beat it, would you still have put it on your top 10? Wow, that person.
Or
is
would
really
have at
good.
least been honorable mention right now.
Oh.
Like I at least would have remembered
Okay, well,
to put
honorable
it there.
mention is fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I forgot to put it on honorable mentions, but I don't feel like I deserve to put it there because
Yeah,
I didn't really play
I've
it
never
much.
really played it, so I don't.
I know that for a fact if I beat it, it would have been my top 10 for sure, just because of that ending. Like you want to talk about Super Metroid's ending, Earthbound's ending. Don't look it up because unless
I
you're
already
planning to
know
play
it.
it. But like Johnny, you have to agree that's like the greatest like.
It's crazy. I
It's-
mean,
I don't want to say the word how to describe it because I'll spoil it too, but
yeah.
it's otherworldly.
I mean, the music in Earthbound is actually pretty good too. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's weird, but it's weird and quirky, but it's kind of catchy at the same time.
I do remember that.
It's just very unfortunate that I just really don't care enough to play it.
Yeah.
But I've watched like people play through it, and so like I already know the storyline and everything. But it is one of those things that I probably should play eventually one day. But we'll see.
I'll play it when Mother 3 comes out.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was gonna say
that's
Mother
ridiculous,
3.
yeah.
Let me go wait for Mother 3 first.
So never, pretty much. It's one of those games that it has like it's a quirky game, but if you think about the beginnings of that game, the guy who created it got his idea from like leaving, like I guess he snuck into a porn theater,
Yeah.
and then like one of the lines in that porn he saw it is the line that like the villain says throughout the game or whatever. I'm just like, oh my god, like, yeah. So yeah, cool.
That's weird.
Shigesato Itoi, man, that guy's he's a celebrity in Japan.
He's the original Goichi 5-1, Suda 5-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
I had Mega Man X2, Mega Man X3, and
Mhm.
Shaq Fu.
Oh my god, that is. You need to replay Shaq Fu, and you can and then tell me that it's still an honorable mention.
Oh, honorable mention, Mega Man 8 is really fun.
Oh yeah, Mega Man 8's pretty good too.
It was just there for the laugh.
Okay, I'm about to say.
You want to talk about input delay? Shaq Fu.
All right. I think then that should probably close us out for tonight here on the podcast. So thank you everyone for listening to us. Be sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube at Metro Kingdom Radio. Like, comment, and subscribe this video. Do you agree with our top 10s, or is there another game you'd rather put
Probably
on
not.
there?
Definitely not mine.
Come on, Tiny Toons? Perfect.
Yeah, so like if you don't comment on the video or tweet at us at Metro King Radio, follow us on Twitch at Metro Kingdom Radio, and download our podcast wherever you download podcasts like Stitcher, Spotify, Google, iTunes, and Animal Crossing Pocket Cast. So,
God damn it.
allow us to say our goodbyes. Ryu.
Thank you for playing. Or thanks for playing. You are a super. Right? Is that what they say in
Thank
Mario?
you for playing my game.
You are super.
Rob.
Adios, muchachos.
And for me, your host, Johnny
Muchachos.
Playstar. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening to us. And until next time, we shall catch you on the SNES side.
Ooh.
Wait, so we still do that for SNES?
Instead of like.
I just wanted to switch it up.
Oh, hey.
Get it?
That was super famicorny. I got nothing.
Yeah.